Hello and welcome to another class of the Scriptcase Fundamentals training. In this class I will be showing you the search options available for the chart application, which is available in Scriptcase. The chart application includes 4 different types of searches: the general chart search, the end user chart search, the advanced search, as well as the dynamic search. Each one with its own particularities and ways of using and configuring them. The general chart search is the option you will find by going to the charts option within the left hand menu and then selecting the search module. We have here a drag and drop area where we can define which fields are going to be part of the search. The conditions will be different depending on the type of field which have been selected. You can define multiple searches at the same time, so you can specify if you are going to use all conditions or any condition, being AND or logical operators. Another available option is the end user search. This is a type of search that can be edited by the end user. It is really useful when it is required to customize the application report to display specific time intervals or a set of specific data. This search is available in the search folder found within the left hand menu. Clicking that, it will expand and provide the option fields. Again, clicking fields, and we will again have a drag and drop area where we can specify fields that we want to use. The options of the field really depend on the type of field that was picked. By clicking the little edit button, you will be presented with the various options for the selected field. You can apply a function here where you can sum, indicate the minimum, maximum, average, count, and other options. You also then have a component which is then configurable and changes depending on the element viewed. Selecting the lookup tab, we can also provide lookups for the field values. In an integer type of field, the option will look like a slider to the end user, as we have there currently. In a text field, it will be a combo box where you can define if it will be a multi-select or not. And in a text field, you'll have a date range and combo box options, usually using actual periods, relative periods like last month, next week, last semester. In all of those options, you can define the values to be used. For instance, viewing a date field, you can see that the periods here are provided, as well as in the values, which we can then also indicate. We have the date range option, actual period, relative period, as well as a seasonal period. And then for a text field, we have then the select box, multi-select box options available, as well as a new tab called choose values, where we can also provide some date ranges or specify some filter values to apply. The lookup is also available. The next search is the advanced search. This search is different from the other chart search options, as it is just like the grid search, which is provided and managed as an entirely new application. Let's start with the general settings. So selecting search and expanding the various options, we can then select the settings option. Now these settings available here are for the advanced search as well as the dynamic search, and it allows us to specify if we want to have the condition and or for the search criteria, as well as to display the condition, and if we want to use autocomplete in the available fields. For the advanced search, we can see in the left hand menu that we have the advanced search available. Clicking that and expanding, we will then have a separate settings for the advanced search. Now here we can define typical options such as the alignments and margins of the application. The keep values option available here allows to maintain the searched values when the user returns back to the search form. I will change the use to submit so that the enter key action is used to submit the form. The display tags allows to display the searched values in a tags format within the chart. So I go ahead and run the chart in its current state and with the options we have selected so far. And now within the chart at the moment, we only see the general chart search, which was the very first search we had looked at, and the search button is currently not available. Now this is because we have not applied any fields to this search yet. So if I return back to Scriptcase and then select the select fields option within the left hand menu, and now here I can then go ahead and specify some fields that I want to use within the advanced search. So I will go ahead and add them, click the save button, and then we can go ahead and run the chart application again. Now within the chart, we now have the search button available. Clicking this will present us with the advanced search form, which again is separate from all other searches within the application. So here, for instance, if I specify a customer ID and then select the search button, I will then be displayed the tags for which I have just searched for. Now on the right hand side, we also have then the option to save this filter which would then allow the end user to save the search filters they have used and then allow them to reuse them again in the future. Returning back to Scriptcase and then the settings again, we see that we also have further options available here which are quite interesting, such as the initial status of the tree view. We can specify that it starts open or closed. We can also unify the total results and select not to display the tags in a tree view. Each of these options allows us to further customize the advanced search. Going down within the left-hand menu, we next have required. Now here we can select which fields will be required for the search to work. Below that we then have the markers positioning, which we can set to the left, right, or not display them at all, as well as the option to display a custom message for the required fields. Below that we have then the toolbar, which is then where we can customize the layout of the advanced search buttons. Below that we can change the label of each button, as well as provide hotkeys for the advanced search. Below the toolbar we also have the save search option. Here we can enable the save option within the grid search. This will then no longer allow the user to save their custom searches. Clicking the events and expanding the various events that we have available, we have the on script init, on refresh, on save, and on validate. Each of these events are separate from the chart events. The events that we have here available are on script init, which runs when the filter is opened. On refresh runs when you force a page refresh on the filter. On save runs whenever a search configuration is saved, and on validate runs when submitting the search form. Within the editor you can also use your typical variables as well as macros and examples that are available within the right hand menu. The next search is the dynamic search. You'll find that also within the left hand menu, and then clicking the dynamic search folder. There we have the option settings, and here we can define whether we want to use the tab or enter key on the keyboard to submit. Below settings we then have select fields, which is where we can then again select the fields that we want to use for the dynamic search, allowing the end user to indicate or provide the fields that they want and then customize them for themselves. So if I go ahead and save that and then run the chart application again, within the chart we will now also see the dynamics. Within the chart we now also see the dynamic search button available. Clicking this will expand the dynamic search, which will then allow us to select the fields which we want to search for. Another option that is important to highlight is the limit option. This option limits the quantity of dimensions that will appear in the chart with the highest or lowest values. You could use this option if you wanted to display the top 5 sales months of year, for example. Thank you for watching this part of the Scriptcase Fundamentals training. I hope to see you again soon in the next class.